Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is SeoulScreen, where we don't just talk about K-dramas, we relive them, overanalyze them, and sometimes get way too emotionally invested. And today's topic is one I've actually been wanting to talk about for a while, because early 2026 is already giving us something very interesting, especially if you're an Ahn Bo Hyun fan. At the very start of 2026, Ahn Bo Hyun is greeting viewers with a brand new romantic comedy drama titled Spring Fever, where he stars alongside Lee Joo-bin. And what makes this exciting isn't just the new project itself, but the fact that romcoms are quietly becoming one of Ahn Bo Hyun's strongest genres. When you look back at his career, you realize this isn't his first time making people fall for him in soft, awkward, emotionally layered love stories. So today, I want to talk about Ahn Bo Hyun's journey in romantic comedies, why Spring Fever feels like an important step for him, and which of his rom-com roles truly left an impression. And of course, I want to hear from you. Which Ahn Bo Hyun character is still living rent-free in your mind? Let's start by being honest. Ahn Bo Hyun didn't debut as the typical rom-com male lead. For a long time, he was known for intense, intimidating, or emotionally distant characters. Tall frame, deep voice, strong presence. He looked like someone you'd cast as a villain, a stoic soldier, or a powerful executive. And yet, when he started appearing in romantic comedies, something unexpectedly worked. The first drama that really changed how people saw him in this genre was Yumi's Cells in 2021. In Yumi's Cells, Ahn Bo Hyun played Goo Woong, a game developer who was quiet, emotionally reserved, and painfully awkward when it came to expressing feelings. The drama itself was already unique, showing the inner world of Yumi's brain through animated cells that controlled her emotions and decisions. But Goo Woong's character brought a very grounded, realistic kind of romance. What I personally loved about Goo Woong was how unpolished he felt. He wasn't smooth. He wasn't good with words. He didn't always understand emotional cues right away. But his sincerity was undeniable. When he liked Yumi, he liked her in his own clumsy, honest way. Their blind date meeting is still one of those scenes that feels awkward in a very real way. Not exaggerated, not overly dramatic. Just two adults trying to connect, unsure of what to say, unsure of how to act. And somehow, that awkwardness turned into comfort. For many viewers, Goo Woong felt relatable. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He struggled with communication. And that's exactly why he worked as a rom-com male lead. Ahn Bo Hyun showed that he could soften his image without losing depth. And honestly, after Yumi's Cells, it was hard not to see him differently. Now let me ask you this. Were you team Goo Woong, or did you feel frustrated with him at times? Because I know the fandom was very divided. Then came See You in My 19th Life in 2023, and this was a completely different kind of romance. In this drama, Ahn Bo Hyun played Moon Seo Ha, a man who had been emotionally frozen since childhood. After losing his first love, Yoon Joo-won, in a tragic accident, Seo Ha grew up carrying unresolved trauma and grief. He isolated himself, avoided emotional connections, and lived in a world where love felt too painful to revisit. Enter Ban Ji-eum, played by Shin Hye-sun, a woman who remembers all her past lives and happens to be the reincarnation of Yoon Joo-won. This wasn't a light rom-com in the traditional sense, but it was deeply romantic. And Ahn Bo Hyun's performance here showed another side of him. Vulnerability. Seo Ha wasn't expressive. He wasn't playful. He was cautious, wounded, and emotionally guarded. But as Ban Ji-eum slowly entered his life, you could see those walls crack. And Ahn Bo Hyun portrayed that emotional thawing beautifully, not through big speeches, but through silence, hesitation, and subtle expressions. Personally, I think See You in My 19th Life proved that Ahn Bo Hyun is very good at playing men who love deeply but quietly. And that kind of romance hits differently. It's not flashy, but it stays with you. So now that we've seen him as the awkward boyfriend and the emotionally scarred soulmate, let's talk about his newest project, Spring Fever, because this one feels like a blend of everything he's done before. Spring Fever focuses on the romance between Yoon Bo, played by Lee Joo-bin, and Sun Jae-gyu, played by Ahn Bo Hyun. Yoon Bo is a high school teacher who appears cold, distant, and mysterious. She used to be a popular figure in Seoul, admired for her talent and personality. But after a shocking incident in her past, she closes herself off emotionally and moves to a small village to start over, teaching at Shinsu High School. Sun Jae-gyu, on the other hand, is almost her complete opposite. He's big, blunt, loud, and unintentionally causes chaos wherever he goes. He's deeply rooted in the village, known by everyone, and completely unapologetic about who he is. This contrast is what makes the setup so appealing. From what we know, Spring Fever is not just about romance, but about healing, acceptance, and emotional growth. And I think Ahn Bo Hyun fits this role perfectly. His physical presence naturally makes his characters seem intimidating at first, but once you peel back the layers, there's always warmth underneath. That contrast works incredibly well in rom-coms. What I'm especially curious about is how Spring Fever will handle its comedy. Will it lean more into situational humor, village dynamics, and character interactions? Or will it rely on romantic misunderstandings and cliches? I'm hoping for the former. Another thing I want to talk about is Lee Ju-bin as Yunbom. Pairing her with Ahn Bo Hyun feels fresh. She has a very controlled, subtle acting style, which could create a really interesting dynamic with his more physically expressive presence. Their chemistry will honestly make or break this drama. Now, here's my personal take. I think Spring Fever could be the drama that fully cements Ahn Bo Hyun as a reliable rom-com male lead. Not just someone who occasionally does romance, but someone audiences actively look forward to seeing in love stories. He's reached a point in his career where his emotional range is clear, and viewers trust him to carry both humor and heartbreak. But there's also a risk. If the drama plays it too safe, it might blend into the crowd of healing rom-coms we've already seen. Small village settings, emotionally wounded female leads, warm-hearted male leads. We've seen this formula before. So the writing and character depth will matter a lot. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic rather than blindly excited. So now, I want to hear from you. Which Ahn Bo Hyun rom-com role did you love the most? Goo Woong from Yumi sells, Moon Seo Ha from See You in My 19th Life, or are you already feeling drawn to Sun Jae-gyu from Spring Fever? And what kind of romance do you prefer from him moving forward? Soft and awkward, emotionally intense, or warm and comedic? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's compare opinions, because I know not everyone feels the same way about his characters. If you enjoyed this discussion, make sure you're subscribed to SeoulScreen. We'll definitely be talking more about Spring Fever as it gets closer to release, and I'll be sharing my honest reactions as the episodes air. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.